Welcome back to CBS This Morning. I'm Tony DeCopa with Gayle King and Anthony Mason, and we're going to begin with this. The FBI is investigating a controversial police shooting at a Chicago transit station that was captured on camera. And we want to warn you, this footage may be upsetting. The witness video shows the struggle between a man and two Chicago police officers on Friday. The man was shot twice. He is now in stable condition. Our national correspondent, Jerika Duncan, is following the latest developments in this fast-moving case. Only happened on Friday. Jerika, good morning. What do we know?
Good morning to you all. Well, we know right now, this morning, there are multiple investigations into why shots were fired. An expert we spoke to says the officer was not justified in pulling out their gun in the first place.
Stop! Stop resisting! Stop resisting! Stop resisting!
More than a dozen times you hear Chicago police officers telling the man to stop after they say he allegedly moved between train cars, an offense that's punishable by a fine but is not a felony. The female officer appears to use a taser on the man. Then you hear the male officer say, "Shoot him."
Shoot him!
The video shows the man trying to go up the escalator, and that's when you hear a second shot. His attorney says the 33-year-old man was shot in the chest and buttocks. Charges against him were dropped, but investigators say they're considering possible criminal charges against the officers.
We both are extremely concerned and have significant questions about the incident.
CBS News security and law enforcement analyst Paul Violas reviewed the nearly 5 minutes of cell phone video. He says this shooting never should have happened.
Based on police procedure, based on use of force, based on the way
CBS News security and law enforcement analyst Paul Violas reviewed the nearly 5 minutes of cell phone video.
Okay, as you can see right there, there's somebody with a camera in front of the person that's filming with the cell phone. All right, I don't know if y'all caught that or not, but as you can see, there's a man standing there with a cell phone. He looked like he recording, right? Now the question becomes, who in the fuck is recording him? Right? Now, to add insult to injury, there's a million cameras in that subway, and I'm talking about right where they are right now. That's right there on the red line. That's the North Avenue and Clybourne stop in the subway. North and Clybourne, red line. You know how many fucking cameras in that tunnel?
He says this shooting never should have happened.
based on police procedure, based on use of force, based on the way police are trained, that did not appear to be imminent fear of their lives or imminent risk to the public, which would have justified deadly physical force.
Both officers are on paid administrative duty during the investigation. The Chicago Police Department issued a statement saying it is not rushing to judgment, but it is cooperating with the independent investigations. The Fraternal Order of Police say the city should not be commenting until all the facts are gathered. But Mayor Lori Lightfoot even said extremely disturbing looking at the video. Officers said there could be more video, so still a lot of questions.
Yeah. As you reported, the charges have been dropped.
Yeah.
Man.
And now they're saying possible charges against the officer.
Well, the police official in your piece said there are significant questions. I don't understand being shot in the back as you're leaving.
Yes.
Considering what he was accused of doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Running in between
trains.
Subway cars. That's,
All right, so let me point out a couple of things for y'all, man. I hate getting on here having to do this. I feel like I'm wasting my time, but people are just not getting it. Now, as you all saw, those were melanated police officers, the man and the woman. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I hate to start this video off by saying some stuff that may piss a lot of people off, but the sister didn't have no business out there. I don't care how y'all feel, man. I don't care about how you feel because they letting women join the military, okay? I don't care. I will beat a chick ass that's been in the military. I don't give a fuck how many push-ups she's done, okay? This fucking melanated female police officer ain't got no business out there. She has no business out there. That's number one. Number two, who is the person recording the person with the cell phone? All right? Number three, why is the FBI investigating two melanated Chicago police officers for shooting a man in a struggle when cops kill people all over the world for getting into a struggle with them. You guys are not getting it, man. You guys are not getting it when I tell you that the world is a stage. Have you all noticed, with all the other people you all subscribe to, have you all noticed that I'm like one of the only people who talk about what I talk about? And I'm talking about, forget my delivery system. Forget the way I deliver it, right? Because that part ain't going to change. I don't care about the people who complain about my delivery system. I could care less. But right now, I'm not talking about the delivery. I'm talking about just what it is that I put out. Have you noticed that most people ain't on that? Most people don't see what I see. So now we're down with the back to the Memphis police officers. We back to them again. First off, it don't say police, it say policy. All right. They dropped the Y, added an E, but the pronunciation didn't change. It is not pronounced police. It's pronounced policy. If you want to talk about police reform, how about we start there? If you want to talk about police reform, how about we have a conversation about, well, you know, cops shouldn't be getting away with the stuff they're getting away with, and they never should have gotten away with it. How's that for reform? You give a mentally unstable or an emotionally unstable man or woman a gun and a badge and tell them that they have qualified immunity, but then you want to spit in my face when you talk about cops need better training? And you think I'm going to just let you spit in my face like that? You think I'm going to let you spit in my face with that? Well, you all can spit on other people with that shit, but you can't spit in my face with it. So now the question becomes, how does this happen? The fake ass lawyer, he looked like he a melanated African or maybe a fucking melanated Moroccan or something. The fucking fake ass lawyer that always show up when shit happened to so-called black people. I can't think of the guy's name, but he was in the Kajinka Jenkins shit, Tanika Jenkins, whatever the girl's name was, right along with a couple other motherfuckers got shot. I think Mike Brown. The first time I think I ever seen him was with Trayvon Martin. But he's always the lawyer in these psyops. Because as far as I'm concerned, a lot of these are psyops. They are. And people don't pay attention to the capabilities that Hollywood have. So thus far, they never tie that back to the fact that the world is a stage. I'm not going to keep getting on here telling y'all the story about the cop that was supposed to kill George Floyd up in Minneapolis. I'm not going to keep telling y'all that story. I'm not going to keep telling y'all about how I went up there, man, to kick it with my homie who is from Chicago. His fucking cousin is a correctional officer in the St. Paul County Jail where the cop was supposed to have been held. The man said they cleared everybody off that side of the goddamn jail where this man was supposed to have been held. They said that no motherfucking black people could work on that shift in that section of the jail with the so-called guy that was supposed to kill George Floyd. I told my homie when he first told me, I say, man, that's some bullshit. I don't want to hear that. When I got up there, I talked to his fucking cousin, man. His cousin said it out his own mouth. I'm not going to keep getting on here telling y'all this. It's just that simple, man. How is that for a delivery? I'm not going to keep getting on here telling y'all this. My patience is starting to run a little thin after close to 6 years of doing this shit. My patience is running thin because I really don't have time for people who don't have time for themselves. And this could be for people I know, people I'm related to, right down to y'all on YouTube. I ain't got time for people who don't have time for themselves. How is it that you got some motherfucking officers down in Memphis, Tennessee, who beat the piss out of a motherfucker, right? It's just another ordinary goddamn day. They beat the shit out of people in Chicago all the time. Whether if it's right there on the street, or whether if it's in the backseat of the fucking squad car, or if it's after they get you to the holding cell in the police station. They beat the fuck out of people all the goddamn time. And it happens more often than you know. Cops do not have no problem with knocking the fuck out of you. They have no problem with it. So you explain to me how these niggas got arrested in 20 days or less. Tell me how. How in the fuck did that happen? Here it is. You just got through watching a video of some Chicago cops that shot a motherfucker in the subway on the red line on North and Claiborne. And they being investigated by the FBI? Where in the fuck do they do that at? But when you somebody like me bring up the King's Alpha plan and what they have planned for cops, when motherfuckers like me bring up Agenda 21 and shit and what they have planned for the police, or excuse me, the policy officers, nobody wants to talk about that. One of a significant key component to them being able to do the stuff that they really want to do, you have to get rid of so-called law enforcement. You have to. Now, when you add that to the fact that they've been talking about defunding the police since COVID, when you add all this shit together, I smell a rat. And them doing what they did to the motherfucking cops down in Memphis, Tennessee is not for the betterment of the people. But then you would have to understand that the world is a stage in order to get that statement. Have a good day.